Okay. Everyone, welcome back to Breslov, Efrat here in Shira David Baruch Hashem. It's Shabbos, Parshas Noach, and we are in the middle of our Hachana to Hilchos Nefilas Yadayim Shachris Dalid, and we're in learning Torah Samach Hey and Likutey Moharon, as Reb Nosson had asked us so kindly to do in order to understand the lesson that we're going to start in Mitzvah Hashem Sunday. All right. So everyone, we're in the middle of the lesson right now, and today we're gonna try to do letter Dalid with the Rabbeinu Shalom's help. Okay, we always need Siyata D'Shmaya. Everyone ready?
Yes.
Okay. V'hinei be'emes b'shas bittel. Now, in truth, when the person's in the midst of bittel, the person's mevatel himself. He's going through whatever he's going through. He wants to connect to the Rabbeinu Shalom. So he's mevatel himself. He nullifies himself and he connects mamish to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's a very beautiful thing if we can do that, right? It's a beautiful thing when things get a little hectic around us. You just stop for a second, close your eyes tight, think of the Rabbeinu Shalom, connect to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's bittul. That's what bittul would be, actually, practically. Then we can all do that. That we can do. There are unlimited levels when it comes to bittul, right? The great tzaddikim mevatel themselves. They went up to the Shema. Okay, but we can attach on our levels always to our Kadosh Baruch Hu. Sometimes when we just shut everything out from the world around us. We close out all the noise. We just shut everything out, and then we can focus in. So when a person's in this aspect of bittul, right? Like we just said, shu kulei tayv, kulei echad. That's great. That's a good place. That's a very good place to be. And it's all echad. You're back to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. You got rid of the whole world and all of the stuff of the world, and now you mamish join yourself back to Hashem. Asai be'emes nizvat l'na yisurim. So then, at that moment, of course, you will mevatel the yisurim because now you feel that tranquility of being with the Rebbeinu Shalom. So that's why it's in nature. Hakadosh Baruch Hu made us the way He made us. Our tendencies are when we feel a pain, He wants us to connect to Him. So therefore, we close our eyes. It's fascinating. I don't know if anyone ever thought about that, right? Why is it that Hashem made it when you feel pain, you just you close your eyes? Why? Because you're supposed to have that pain. You're supposed to connect back to the Rebbeinu Shalom and realize that Hashem is doing that for your time. It's for your good. Unbelievable idea, right?
Animals don't do that.
Huh?
Animals don't do that, I think.
You?
Animals.
Yeah, they do.
They do also.
Yeah, that's what the Rebbe talks about. Yeah, he does. Yeah, animals do that also. Yeah. They'll also close their eyes. Yeah. Ef Shalia is tamid kavua bebechinas bittul. But hey, so you say this is a great thing. Let me just stay in this category of bittul. Let me let's just live that way. That'll be a nice thing, right? That's what it'll be when Mashiach comes. We'll have this idea of bittul, right? That we're mamish connected to the Rebbeinu Shalom. We shut everything out around us. We shut it all out. He says now, ki imkain yetze migeder enoishi. But then you go. That's not. Now you're not a human. You're going out of the way HaKadosh Baruch Hu created us. That we're supposed to have the bechira. And we can choose to be. We can go into bittul and leave bittul. We can do that. We have to do that. He's going to explain in a minute. And that's why the Rebbe has it's a very important concept in the Rebbe's teachings. Baki Ratzi, Baki B'Shav. We have to know how to come close to our Kadosh Baruch Hu, and then we have to know how to retract. We have to know how to go back without falling. In other words, we understand that we're going to have aliyahs and yeridas, right? When we have an aliyah, a yerida is going to follow that because that's just the way it is. You have to know how to deal with that yerida and stay standing strong, standing upright. You don't get mixed up because of that. You have to know. You have to understand it. So too over here, baki ratzi, baki b'shav. In other words, you have to understand when you need to go into bittul, and then you have to know how to come out of bittul to come back to the world. Which the Rebbe is going to explain now. Just 1 second. So now when the seichel when the seichel is mevatel el hamayach, and now it goes back to the mayach, right? Al kein kishechoiza seichel me'abitel el hamayach. So now the seichel, where it went, it was connected to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the seichel. But now that seichel goes back to the mind. But look what happens now. Shu klei seichel. That's the klei. That's the klei where the seichel dwells. Is in the mayach. Okay. Azai efshel hamoichin shehem hakelim lekabel zeh seichel shel bechinas bittel. The mind is a kli, right? So in other words, when you go into bittel, you're connecting to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So that's something infinite. You're leaving the gather of a person in a bishas bittel because now you're mamish connecting to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Now when you come back, so that bittel, that idea, the mind is a kli. So the kli can't accept something that's infinite, right? You had something that was that's something, you're dealing with something infinite. But now when you come back, when you come back, so now how does that work? Kihu v'bechinas ein tzayv, because bittel is ein tzayv. When you're with bittel, can you believe this? We have the ability to connect to ein tzayv. B'shas bittel. When the time that we're in bittel, we close our eyes from the nonsense and the things going on in the world, whatever it is, we're mamish entering a place of ein tzayv. Is that fascinating? Shu bechinas hatachlis. That's the real tachlis. To be with ein tzayv, that's our tachlis. Because what are we talking about? We're talking about the field. We're talking about the field. What's the field? Gan Eden. What's Gan Eden? What's Gan Eden? Connecting to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's our tachlis. That's what we're trying to do. That's what this whole life is about, is to get to that point. Right? Even the what do you call it? The one time I remember I saw a Maisa with the Chavetz Chaim, right? So there was a big veer that came to the Chavetz Chaim, and he traveled from who knows where he traveled from, and he came into the Chavetz Chaim's little palace, right? His one big room palace, right? And he meets the Chavetz Chaim, and he sits down and he looks around. He says, "Rabbi, where are all your possessions?" He says, "This is all I have." But what do you mean that's all you have? So the Chavetz Chaim tells him, where are you all your things? The Chavetz Chaim asks him, he turns the question around. Oh, he says, I'm traveling. So all my stuff is back in my my villa. I have all my things. Oh, I have art and I have gold and silver and jewels. Oh, wow. So the Chavetz says, I'm also traveling. And in the same way, you don't have all your stuff with you. I'm traveling, and that's why what I have in my house, and that's what the whole thing is. That's why I think the Rebbe is telling over here. In other words, that's the real the bechin of tach. That's the tachlis. We're trying to get there, but we get so mixed up with all the stuff in the world. Sometimes we think that this is the tachlis, but that's not. We're not living in the tachlis right now. But we can connect to it anytime we go to bittel. Is that fascinating? So it means really any moment we can tap into this. That if we choose to do it. Shu kulay echad, and that's the place of kulay echad. That's the one of the oneness of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the Ein Sof. Kulay toiv. Umach mazeh margish hamayach hatzar shel isurim. But now, since when the person left, when the person was zeicha to go into that place of bittul Ein Sof, so then the pain, so to say, stops at that second. Because he's feeling some kind of bliss. He's experiencing something very, very special at that moment if he knows what he's doing. But now when the seichel comes back, now the mind starts, that foot's hurting, that tooth is, that, whatever it is. It feels the pain. Right, the mind is the what do you call it? The control center. Maybe we could say it like that. Maybe the control center for the mind, right? For the body. The mind is the control center for the body. So if there's any problems in the body, it sends signal to the mind, and then the mind is dealing with that, and it figures out. The mind is working on trying to figure out, but the mind feels the pain, right? Is that true? I mean, the mind. It's through the mind.
The toe doesn't feel the pain, the mind feels the pain.
The mind, you feel it right. You may feel something down there, but it really bothers you up in it's all connected. We're wired. It's all wired. It's all wired back to the mayach, right? Okay. Ki hamayach yoitzin tzinoiros l'chol ha'varim kulam. There are tzinoiros, right? There are pipelines, right? There are wires, pipelines, huh?
Wiring, yeah.
Wiring. Well, he's saying tzinoros are pipes, but really over here, it was really wire of ichutim, right? Well, okay, whatever. We know we have electrical system in the body. We know that, right? We have pipes. We have a plumbing system. We have an electrical system in the body.
Neural passages.
Is it okay? Okay, there we go. Okay. Listen, we don't need the translate. It's very nice. The Rebbe writes it so beautifully, right? Tzinoros l'chol ha'varim kulam. Va'al yedei zeh margish hamayach ha'ke'ev be'ezeh eva shehu. And that's how it works. In other words, really, what's the connection that the toe has with the mind? Is the system, the mechanism that goes from the toe to the mind and sends the message back and forth. Okay, so far so good?
Okay.
Vida, but now the Rebbe says, here we go. So now we said when we go into bittel, we're going into a place of Ein Sof. And then the seichel is in a place of bliss. It's amazing. But when it comes back, but now it has to go back into the mind. Problems
didn't disappear.
No, they got worse. Because while he was experiencing something so nice, the pain was saying, "You're not dealing with me. You're not dealing. What about me? Where'd you go? You checked out there, but what about my pain? What about my problem?" Kiderech shnei anoshim shem is avkim v'nilchomim v'nisgabrim zeh keneged zeh. Two people are fighting, right? When one person's fighting with another, okay. And when they're fighting, then he sees, he's gaining on me. Oh no, he's gaining on me. So then he gets a burst of adrenaline. Maybe you could say like that, right? He gets some kind of a jolt of adrenaline, and he gives him a good zetz back. He goes, fights him back. So too the Baal Dinim. Look at how he says that. Look how he says that, right? The Baal Dinim, right? The Baal Dinim. Why are we having? Why does HaKadosh Baruch Hu send us the problem altogether? Because there's a problem that we didn't make tshuva on. We spoke about that yesterday, right? So, but if we understand that really HaKadosh Baruch Hu is sending us this thing to us, and really HaKadosh Baruch Hu doesn't want to send us any problems, any pain, anything like that. He would rather that we make tshuva. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, but he takes, so to say, he takes the time, so to say, because the Rebbeinu Shalom, it means nothing, but I'm just using it something that we could understand. Right? The Rebbeinu Shalom takes the time to custom make something for a person. When you recognize that the Rebbeinu Shalom is infinite, taking care of everything. He takes care of everything, which is really nothing for him to do. But that Rebbeinu Shalom is making an effort to help me ultimately. That's very humbling. It's unbelievable. You feel a sense of gratitude to the Rebbeinu Shalom that he caused, so that it means something. It means something, right? Right? L'sgaber ala yisurim. So the dinim wanted to write to l'sgaber ala yisurim levatlam, and al yedei bittel ela tachlis. Right? But when the person sees that, what he can do is he wants to be mevatel it when he goes into the bittel. So when he goes into bittul, when he checks out and he goes into bittul, so then the fight's going on and they're fighting more, and then they overpower him. When he comes back from that bittul, they may hurt him a lot more than it hurt just a moment ago. Because now they're angry. What do you mean? You're not dealing with me. You're not dealing with the pain. Because you're trying to run away from the problem. And again, that's not the way we do it. We always have to we have to, when you have a problem, you hit it, you deal with it head on, and you deal with the problem. And again, this is really plan B, right? Because plan A is we do tshuva, we don't have to go through this, right? But we're going to see that sometimes there's isurim that we need them to help us to advance in our Torah study. Well, let's see in a minute. Okay, you ready? Wow, look at this. So notice when you come back, when you go to this place of bittel, right? So you're connecting to the Ein Sof, right? And you're experiencing, you feel the Rebbeinu Shalom with you. So when you do that, you get like a new inspiration, maybe. Maybe it's like a new inspiration that comes to you, which is considered a Chidush Torah, Chidushei Torah. Others say, the proper Chachma says that it doesn't necessarily mean that it always has to be a Chidush Torah, but it can mean a new vigor in your learning. Something special, something you feel something new. You feel a new energy. You feel something special. That you got through the Yisurim, not through the Yisurim, but through the bittel that came via the Yisurim. You understand? That didn't come because you had the pain. Because you experienced the pain and you did the right thing and you went to bittel, and you realize you didn't start to complain to your doctor, you didn't start to this, you went to you remembered that there were a bunch of stuff, that's the address. And you went over there, because the Yisurim brought him into bittel. And now afterwards, even though he came back from the bittel, so there's a reshimu. There's the way I always liked it, the way the Rabbi Weinberg explained it to me. I don't even know how many years ago was he. I asked him, how do you understand this thing, a reshimu? What is a reshimu? So he said, he gave me a perfect, beautiful example. If you take a plastic cup and you fill it up with oil, fill up the cup with oil. Now dump out all the oil, and then look at the cup. There's like a lining on the cup, will remain on the cup, but it's not the oil. The oil, it's oil, but it's not the main thing that was there. So he explained that when you're in the bittel, the cup is full. You have the cup full cup of oil. I'm just giving you a mashal for the nimshal. But then when you leave the bittel, you're left with a reshimu, an imprint of it. You have still something, you have a remnant of it. You have, maybe that's a good word, can we use that? I mean, there's a remnant of the bittel that remains with you.
Russian.
What?
Russian.
Yeah. Like when you write something down, you make you have to write something down to make a reshimu, right? You write it down. You want to remember it.
I think it's a Russian, like
Roshan, yeah. Same. It's the same idea, all the same idea. Through the person having that reshimu that remains with him, and he remembers how special that was, that's where the Chidushei Torah comes from.
I think the mash is also like if you have a pad of paper and you write a letter or you draw a picture, like and you take that off, like the picture's gone, but on that next page in the
there's still something there. Here's like a pencil, something you
pushed it down.
You pushed down a little bit. Yeah.
Impression.
Yeah.
Or
the carbon paper. Remember the carbon paper?
Yes.
Wow. We're dating ourselves, right?
What do they call it? Dittos?
No, carbon paper. We used to put the blue paper underneath there, and you would write it. Would come on the other side. Oh, wow.
Teachers used to have to do a lot of work.
Yeah. Well, listen, these are all of the mishalim for the nimshal that we're trying to. That's why we have all these things in the world, so we can understand this beautiful concept. I believe so. Anyway. And they not says, okay, ki al yedei habitul nispatul el tachlis, because through bittul you mevatel yourself to the tachlis, which is the tachlis HaKadosh Baruch Hu, being one with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. V'hisik shekol ha'yisurim heim toiva is kidoy l'smai. Only then, when you're there, you can understand that really, Hashem, I realize how much you love me and how you're doing this for my ultimate good at that time. A person you can come to that. We can all come to that level. At that time, we all can do this. We just have to know. We have to remember it. So chas v'sholom, whenever we're dealing with something, we know how to deal with it, how to get out. This is the key. How to have a benefit by the pain, not just you deal with the pain and it's for naught. No, but you can get something mamish right here now.
I love that the Rebbe also doesn't say that you go to this place of bittel and then in return your problems disappear in life.
No, Rabbi This is the true psychology. This is true psych. The Rebbe really understood the human being better than anybody else. I believe, Mamish. You see this? He knew about the tzinoris that go from the mind to the Eivar. It's unbelievable. And the way he writes it, it's so right. It's so beautiful. And then the person he goes from that place of pain and suffering, but then when he recognizes that HaKadosh Baruch Hu did this for my good, it brings him to a place of simcha. Simcha is the tikkun for everything. If a person can be misameach himself, so then that itself will bring him a tikkun to whatever's going on. The whole idea of simcha is this idea of making chidushim of Torah, new ideas, new insights in Torah. This is a brand new insight if you think about it. Who would have ever thought that if I go into bittel, I can have simcha? If I go into bittel, I have simcha, which is chidush Torah. That's a chidush by itself right there. Shami Yisrael Nasav and Ishma. Right, at the time the Klal Yisrael, we said on Har Sinai, Nasev and Ishma, Yodu Shishim Riboy Malachim V'Nosnu Shnei Kisorim, right? V'Roish Kol Echad. There were 600,000 angels that came down, and each angel was bearing 2 crowns, and each angel crowned each Jew with 2 crowns. Right? We all heard this before, right? This is nothing. Okay, but it's the way he wrote about it. But then when we made that sin of the Egel Azov, the golden calf, so what happened? HaKadosh Baruch they came and they took their crowns back from us. They came and they took those crowns back from us. We lost them. But look what he says. But in the end of time, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Mashiach Tzidkeinu coming in Mitzvah Hashem today, now, Mitzvah Hashem, please, Tata, it's been a long gullus. What do you want from just bus of a dumb? Okay. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to bring us back those crowns. Shenema v'simchas oilam al roisham. The simchas olam al roisham. The simcha, it's in the roish, the crowns. That pasuk is showing that we're going to get those crowns back. But you see here, look at the thing, simcha roish, right? Simcha roish. Nimsa shasimcha hi bechinas nasa v'nishma. Simcha is the idea of nasa v'nishma. Why is it nasa v'nishma? Because when I said nasa v'nishma, I was in a great level of simcha, and that's how I was zeicha to get those crowns. That's how I was zeicha to get the crowns, because of the great level of simcha, that connection we felt with the Rebbeinu Shalom at that time. We experienced the 49 days of the Sphira getting closer to the Rebbeinu Shalom, and when we finally got closer to the Rebbeinu Shalom, we felt that high level of simcha. But here again, we're learning we can feel that same level of simcha, even though we're dealing with a problem. You understand? Even though I'm dealing with the problem, I can leave the problem, even though it may be momentarily. But I can find some salvation. I can find some what other word can I use? When I leave and I go into bittel,
relief.
I find relief. Maybe okay, right? Okay. Transcendence, relief. When I come into this place of bittel, right? But if I stop and think at that moment while I'm in bittel, then I realize I'm in a place of ein sof at that time. I'm connected with the Rebbeinu Shalom ein sof. I'm not connected to this world at that time. I may be in the world, but my mind is transcendent. Like you said, it goes somewhere else. And then when I stop, and at that time, and I recognize that really HaKadosh Baruch Hu is doing this for my good, that puts me into a level of simcha. That puts me into that level of simcha that the Rebbeinu Shalom is not doing this to me to hurt me. Adrabah, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is doing this to me to empty me from my sin so I can be able to get to Gan Eden. You understand? When I realize that, there's a tachlis for it. Like we used the example yesterday of the dentist, right? That we use, I always like that example, right?
Because no one likes the dentist.
No, not only that, but when you finish, you give the dentist a lot of money. You give him a lot of money, but why? Because you know he's doing something good for you, okay? Shu bechinas kabbalah satayra. Okay, so now we'll do another parakeh. Al yedei eschachus satayra, through eschachus zoich, and al yedei reshimu. So now we establish this new concept, right? So you have eschachus atayra through the reshimu, right? Through the reshimu, that little imprint that's left in the mind from the bishas habittel shel habittel. So that can then it can so to say calm them in some way. What way? As he says, because through the Torah insight, why a person has this new Torah insight because of the bittel. So that itself will put out the thirst of the nefesh. The nefesh, we're talking about the nefesh, right? That's what this whole Torah is about. The nefesh up in Shemayim, right? So that'll put out the thirst of the nefesh, because the nefesh the nefesh alikus wants more Torah. The nefesh alikus wants a connection to the Rebbeinu Shalom. So when the nefesh alikus feels that reshimu, and it has that simcha, and it has the new insights in Torah, the new Torah study, the new way of the new excitement the person will have for his learning. Ki argoshas yisurin hu bechinas tziman nefesh, because the feeling of pain, really, what is that? That is the tziman nefesh. The nefesh is thirsting. Is that a good way to say it? Thirsting, right? Thirsting. Ki tziman hu ayedei melichos. Because the thirst comes through what? Salt. Through salt, right? If you have salt, you get thirsty, right? Eat something salty, you get thirsty, right? So salt brings in the thirst. And salt is an idea of isurim, right? You ever have a little cut on your finger or something, and you touch some salt? You close your eyes right away, right?
He's saying in Russian, don't put me salt on the wound.
Why is it? How does it go?
English too also says don't put salt. Don't put salt on the wounds.
Yeah. No, why? Because again,
it's already bad. Don't put salt on, right?
If it's paid, don't put salt on it. Kamei Shemra was saying in Zuchan L'Bracha, Nema bris b'melech. We know that the Gemara says that there's a bris b'melech. What's a bris b'melech? HaKadosh Baruch Hu made the salt treaty. What's the salt treaty? That we know that we're always supposed to have on our table melech, right? Because a table is daimel mizbeach, and on the mizbeach there was always going to be salt on the mizbeach. V'nema bris b'yisurim, and there's also a bris b'yisurim. Nefesh he bas haseichel. The nefesh is the bas seichel. Ki gidol hanefesh hu ayedei haseichel. How does the nefesh get greater? How does the nefesh alikus raise its level? Through the seichel, right? They know is while you're studying Torah, while you're getting closer to Rebbeinu Shalom, of course the nefesh alikus rises up. Correct? Makes sense? Right? Shemizgadla umisakna. The nefesh, she gets what do you call it? Greater and has more repair via the fact the person has studying Torah. K'maisha kasav gam beloy das nefesh loy toiv. How do you like that? Look at this in Mishlei. Gam beloy das. Look at the words. Gam beloy das. Without das nefesh loy toiv. The nefesh is not toiv. So the nefesh here we're seeing wants, the nefesh is thirsting. The nefesh is thirsting. So sometimes the nefesh is causing the problem itself to the person, the physical problem, because the nefesh is thirsting. The nefesh is on the verge of the feeling of expiration. The nefesh can expire. So it causes something, it wants to do something that it can stay a jolt to jolt the person. You understand? So it could be sometimes even the nefesh, because it needs that. Okay, may I say b'shleimus azayu? What?
Where is it dafka nefesh here? Nefesh
alikus.
Fed by.
It's by the seichel. Because the nefesh is being grazed up and made and repaired through the seichel, through the mind.
Why is not neshama or dafka nefesh?
Why?
Why is not neshama or other parts?
Because here we're talking about nefesh, and this Torah we're dealing with nefesh elikus. We're dealing with the nefesh over here. It's also the neshama. Okay, it's also the neshama, but that's the lower level. Yes, yeah, because we're dealing with pain. We're dealing with the guf. The nefesh is more connected to the guf than the neshama. Okay, just take the good question. Azayu oise peiros, then the person can make peiros, because by studying Torah and not doing Averis, right? Staying away from Averis and studying Torah, though that itself is the peiros, like we learned in the first in Aleph in this Torah, right? When you're doing mitzvahs and maaseh and tovim, that's making the peiros. That's a pre. You're making peiros because you're not involved in the rolling. Aval kishenifka maseichel. Here we go. This is we'll stop, but we'll finish this paragraph and we'll stop. But if chas v'shalom, the person causes a pagam, he causes a blemish in his seichel, right? The person which was what he subscribes to chachmei ateva, right? Or the person is involved in things that he's not supposed to. He's engaged with things that he shouldn't be engaged with. Azayu bechinatz eretz pri limelecha. So then he puts himself in a place where the earth is like it becomes salty. Unbelievable, right? The earth itself comes salty, where you don't get peiros, right? When you have salt in the earth, in the soil, it's not going to allow anything to grow. The idea of the salt, like we said, you don't put salt on the wounds, right? So we established that melechos from David HaMelech in Tehillim on Kuv Zayin, right? Melechos hu bechinas isurim. That is an idea of isurim. Shemagishim ayedei she'ena seichel b'shleimus. Because again, if the seichel is b'shleimus, the person is always connected to the Rebbe Yisrael. He has the das, like we keep learning about. What's the das hashkacha? He understands everything is hashkacha. He understands that the Shechina is in everything. The Shechina it manifests itself in everything in different ways, but it's all the Rebbe Yisrael. That's a seichel b'shleimus. But when he does that, he doesn't feel the pain because he recognizes right away that that's from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So it's not for naught that I'm going through this. Then the person has that simon nefesh. His nefesh is thirsting. Then again, when he has the problem and he goes into bittel, and then he has the reshimu, and the reshimu brings him to the simcha, and the simcha brings him to his chachus HaTorah. So they can cool down. He can relax. I guess you could say that he can relax the Yisurim, and he can and he can put out that thirst of the nefesh, because now he has that new Torah, and the Torah is what the nefesh wants. The nefesh wants to grow. The nefesh wants to be closer to the Rebbeinu Shalom. The nefesh wants the guf to come closer to the Rebbeinu Shalom. So again, they'll have the problem, but then through the problem, the person will go into the place of bittul. The place of bittul, when he understands that, and he sees how HaKadosh Baruch Hu loves him, is doing it for his good, because he goes into that place of Ein Sof. And when he's in that place, when he leaves that place of bittul, he brings something back with him, and that's the Rishimu. He brings that back with him, and he has that. And that Rishimu brings him a simcha here, which is the Chidushei Torah, which is putting out the thirst of the nefesh.
Beautiful.
Unbelievable idea, right?
Yeah, can I add something?
No,
but
I'll be upset if you don't.
No, but it's just so beautiful, because this is like every day, every or week, but whatever it is, you find yourself and you go into the state. But if we just sort of implant it on a bigger scale, right?
Yeah.
That like the period that we just went through of Elul and Tishrei was like, so to speak, a period of bittul in time. Yeah. And then you go for the rest of the year, especially now when things are getting like I just get like challenged like crazy just as we get back into the chol, and it's like, no, you need to. He says you have to be a master of Ratzah and a master of Shav.
Baki b'Shav, Baki b'Ratzah, Baki b'Shav. Excellent,
You need to be able to use that Rishimo, right? don't take it for granted. So, but there's also a rosham that was left from the Chagim. There's a rosham that was
excellent.
and to take that with you.
Absolutely. But here we're saying even more than that, though, because now you're learning that any time during the day you can go into that place of bittel. You can enter that place of bittel. When you go to that place of bittel, your mamash one with the Rabbeinu. Wow, look what we can do. A moment. You can mama spend 2 minutes going to bittul for 2 minutes. Come back. Wow! Look at the gems you're going to bring yourself back.
It wasn't for naught, even that moment.
Of course not. Chas v'shal never is for naught. Man, look what he says here. Now look at this. Now, David, this is a present for you here. Bechinas hoika a called samalacha l'mayim. You know the Rebbe, the Lubavitch Rebbe had this niggin. How did it go? Remember how? Nafshi kama lecha misari eretz you see that? Come on. Baruch Hashem. Zeh bechinas ashrei hageva asher tiyasrenu yoka mitorasecha talandenu. Fortunate, as happy as the person, right? This person asher tiyasrenu. He goes through the Yisurim, right? This person that goes through the Yisurim from HaKadosh Baruch, he sees it's from Koth. He knows it's from the Rabbeinu Shalom, and then he learns Torah. The Torah comes out of the Yisurim. How fortunate is a person like that? Unbelievable, right? As we learned just now. I think that's clear now. Do we got that? Do we understand? That's where Chidushei HaTorah come from the bittul, because of the problem, the tzama, the mela, the salt, right? And when you have that, when you come back from that bittul, and then you see your avodas Hashem you experience something special in your avodas Hashem. You see that you feel a different, some kind of something special. You feel something special, so you know that Baruch Hashem, you passed that test, and you got something from that difficult situation, and it was not for naught. You gained something that's eternal. You gained something eternal from that experience. Okay, now then it'll show you. That'll show you that you were zeichet to have this bittul betachlis. That you accomplished what you were supposed to accomplish. You were mevatel yourself in the way that you became one with the Rabbeinu Shalom, with the Ein Sof. And you saw the beauty in HaKadosh Baruch Hu. HaKadosh Baruch Hu loves the person. He loves you. He loves you, and that's why he's putting you through this right now, because he's trying to empty you out from whatever sin it was so you can get to Gan Eden. And then when the person realizes that, and the person connects to that, so then when the person comes back into he comes back into the kelim, like the Rebbe said. He comes back and he has to go into the kli, the seichel has to go back into the kli of the mayach. So then it brings that reshimu, it brings that imprint, and it sets it into the mayach. It sets it into the mayach, and that reshimu is that brings him to a simcha, because he realizes what he got accomplished, which is that new chidushei Torah. If it's not chidushei Torah mamash, it's the new hargosha that he feels in his avodas Hashem, the new feeling that he feels in his avodas Hashem. Al tachlis ayidei yisurim, ba'al yidei zeh zoicha lechidushin yaraisa al yidei harashimu. And I think we'll stop over here now. Okay, shkoyach everyone. Have a good Shabbat.